Kevin Grabinski, I rise not as Assemblyman Cottrell Sargent's field representative, but as a parent of an 18-year-old who I just trucked home from Humboldt State yesterday, 11 hours. And she attended Tech Trek and has been inspired to this day about science in a way that our upbringing never gave her. And she continues, despite it being hard work for her, to be interested in becoming a marine biologist. So.
Thank you. From a business perspective, my name is Philippe Hartley. I run a company called Fat Energy. We're based out of Los Angeles, right next to JPL, but also downtown San Luis Obispo. I want to give you just a kind of a business side perspective of how we'd like to get involved in this in this forum. We are very interested in helping schools, educators, teach the science and the engineering and the reality and the future of solar energy. So the way we have done it is by contributing the labor for very, very small labs, essentially 500-watt solar arrays at schools to do interdisciplinary or intercurricular education from the earth science, hard science, mathematics, and social science departments, so that kids can understand how solar functions, how it impacts their lives, and even talk to their parents about it. So those little labs generally cost approximately $4,000 or $5,000 to actually build. We contribute the labor, we contribute the monitoring, so that the various teachers and departments can draw the data from that. And it covers really everything from selling, because the kids have to raise the money for it, the building of the system, so you have certainly the engineering aspects of this program, and then the result is many, many years thereafter of data to impact the science departments, the math departments, and other departments. So we're available to teach how to raise the money, to install the systems, and to contribute the monitoring. Fat Energy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Henry?
I'm Anne-Marie Bergen, teacher in residence, new teacher in residence for Cal Poly, but I also wear a different hat, which is I'm the chair of the California Teacher Advisory Council, and it's a group of 12 STEM educators in California who actually then give voice to research, policy, and practice, and we are under the umbrella of the California Council of Science and Technology. Jeff Foote, who is a teacher in this community, is on this particular council, and so we have a really unique place where we actually get to sit next to policymakers and bring the voice of the teacher and what's happening in the classrooms to them. So I bring also my experiences here to voice that to a larger group.
Thank you so much. Someone over here in the corner was interested in speaking. This little guy is actually on Mars right now, and this was built in San Luis Obispo. The name of the company is Next Intent. Next Intent is one of the Mars exploration rover's wheels built in San Luis Obispo, and this guy is going to Mars. So within 4 months, we're launching to Mars, the Mars Science Laboratory, and this guy also, many parts of that rover were built here in San Luis Obispo, and Next Intent does involve lots of interns and Cal Poly undergraduates in their efforts in building high-precision machinery.
Good morning. Jerry Valadez. I'm director of the Central Valley Science Project. 3 quick things. Keep in mind that science educators in the Central Valley, the very warm and very cold Central Valley, tend to retire over here. So it's a great resource you might tap into and think about. There's a lot of cross-fertilization between the Central Coast and Central Valley right now. Second thing is, I'm a PI on a mobile science workshop project that we got some funding for about 10 years ago, which has now developed into community science workshops, CSW. You can Google CSW and find a website they've disseminated across the country. We're now going nonprofit, trying to find business and industry support. There is not a site in the Central Coast, so the board is looking immediately at trying to locate one The CSWs primarily focus on serving underserved communities, and it's all free. So it's none of this fee-based stuff that keep kids from participating. The last thing is, I'm also here because I'm one of 7 members of a National Resource Council committee. We will be issuing a report to Congress in June on promising practices in K-12 STEM education, so keep an eye out on that. I'm also here to listen to your conversations that may contribute to that report. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Ed Oppenheim. I've dabbled in STEM over the years a little bit myself, and former Endeavor Institute director and former management professor at Cal Poly, and did the Endeavor Academy to Rutgers High School, but I work for Lockheed Martin now. Lockheed Martin Corporation did not make an input, but at the corporate level across the country supports STEM education, and that translates to our site here in Santa Maria as our engineers going out to schools in the Santa Maria district there in both the elementary and middle schools to give students the understanding of what engineering careers are about, both in the level of rigor required for them to go to college and pursue those degrees, as well as the soft skills that have been mentioned here by some of the other industry representatives that are required to do project management and raise funds and create new business in engineering and science. So that's what Lockheed Martin does.
Thank you so much. The other question I wanted to ask is, how many people here drove more than an hour to get here? How many people drove less than an hour to get here? Okay. So everything that we've just heard about for the last half hour is within a 1 hour drive, plus or minus probably a couple of minutes. These are all it's a very rich, vibrant community of people who are doing lots of great STEM activities. One of my big issues is how do we just communicate amongst each other? How do we figure out all of these events? I mean, you could probably, and we'll talk more about that during our breakouts, of how do we just stay connected? How do we keep supporting each other in these efforts?